Hello folks, and welcome to a overview and quick playthrough of a game, a fantasy gamebook magazine no less, that is currently on Kickstarter at the time this video is released. It is issue 2 of Talamander, which is a choose your own adventure style gamebook series set in a fantasy world that will be running for multiple issues. Issue 1 kickstarted successfully, I think it was earlier this year, and issue 2 is now up on Kickstarter. I'm the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. If you enjoy it, do consider hitting the like button and dropping a comment below the video to let me know what you think of this game. Have you got issue 1? Have you played it? Are you interested in backing issue 2? Now this is issue 1 here. It is also part of the campaign, as you would imagine, so if you haven't got issue 1 you can back issue 1 and issue 2 at the same time. As you can see, we've got this awesome art by Nerdgore on the front cover, and it's also included as a poster. Obviously, being a nutso collector, I'm not going to be removing that poster, but I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to frame if you were so inclined. Or to just blue tack to your wall if, you still did that sort of thing. This is the new issue. This is not the final cover. This is sort of an early release special edition kind of cover. It's going to have a matching cover with issue 1 with art by Nerdgore. In fact, we've got a black and white of the cover on the inside there. So I think Nerdgore is hard at work at the moment colouring that so that we will have a nice consistent cover between issue 1 and issue 2. So what we're going to do in this video is just take a quick look at the front information of this issue. I'm going to skip over reading any bits that reveal what happened at the end of issue 1, but those bits will be on screen, so if you pause the video and read, you might see a couple of spoilers for the end of issue 1, so don't do that if you haven't read issue 1, because stuff happens at the end. Okay, so in here we've got a little important read first bit. We've got a letter from the editor, as we had in issue 1. The editor is Zacharias the Cat Mage, who I believe is actually a real person. And then we've got a little bit of information down here to help us carry over. And then we've got our adventure sheet, which is kind of cool. It's got a couple of hints here to indicate that the game is going to be a little bit different from issue 1, or certainly a couple of added mechanics anyway. The reputation points section is now split down into 5 separate chunks, so you can see how many reputation points there are, and presumably we'll have a little bit of awareness as to where those reputation points can be earned. Other than that, weapons looks the same, skills looks the same, the backpack looks the same, outfit looks the same. We've still got the family luck section. There's a separate section for the bestiary bonus. I'm not sure how you get that. And then we've got code words for issue 1, so we're carrying over our code words from issue 1, and we've got some new code words for issue 2. But most intriguingly, we've got this Friends of the Forest section. I guess while we're wandering around the forest, we can make some buddies, including Briar, Water Elemental, Geralt the Worm, or Geralt the Worm, Orc Army, Centaur Army, Parliament of Wood, and Air Elementals. So they sound intriguing. We won't read the letter from the editor, because I've just had a quick look, and that's totally got a spoiler in it. He even jokes and said, sorry, I should have put a spoiler alert before that. Well, we won't read it, just in case you are inclined to not find out too much about issue 1. So in this important section it says, you either need a Kylo or Aldon code words before continuing. If you've played any choose your own adventure books that are more complex than the most basic ones, they often have code words in to allow the designer, writer of the books to adjust what happens in certain situations based upon things that have happened in the past. So it's a way for the game to remember things that have happened and adjust what happens in the current scene accordingly. So we've got one of those code words. I've actually got a Kylo. I've got 3 other code words carried over from issue 1 as well. So this is my adventure sheet. Based upon these instructions down here, I've carried over my skill scores from issue 1. The only difference is the current score of my health is now 12. I can't remember what it was in issue 1, but it's set to 12 at the start of this issue to show that you've had to do some fighting in between issue 1 and issue 2. I think it basically takes off at the same point, but you've had to fight a couple of people in between, so your health is slightly lower. We've also got some instructions here in the previously section. Again, we won't read that bit, but continuing your adventure from issue 1, there's a bunch of items that you don't need to carry over. In fact, once I'd removed those items, the only item I had, I think, was Dran's locket. So I've added that to my backpack. Everything else has been discarded. And there's a few more notes here that I haven't read yet, so let's go through those together. From the previous battles following your escape, you've managed to scavenge a sword, +2 damage, so let's put that in. A healing potion, 2 healing potions, one that gives us +4 and one that gives us +6. So let's put those here. And 10 stones with your hunting sling. I'd assumed I got stones, so I've already put stones in my hunting sling. Interestingly, the hunting sling was previously kept in the backpack. It's now kept in its own little section here, and there's a type of hunting sling and a bonus for your hunting sling, which makes me think that we'll be using the hunting sling a little bit more in this issue, which is cool. You've also managed to scavenge some interesting items from your various encounters with the raiders. To see what you've found, roll 1 6-sided die and take anything you wish from the items you find with that roll. If you're unhappy with your choice, you can use a family luck point to add or subtract 1 point from the number you rolled. So I think family luck, although it isn't indicated here, I might put a couple of tick boxes in. Let me just check. Yeah, family luck, you've now got 2 family luck points. And those allow you to do re-rolls. They can only be used once per adventure. So once you've used those, they're done for the whole issue, as far as I'm aware. Let's do a quick roll on this table. So we've got a D6 table. 6. So we can have another healing potion, and we can have lightning leather armour. Add to clothing under outfit on your adventure. Well, I'm going to take both those, aren't I? So we've got a 3rd healing potion and lightning leather armour for over +1 attack. Well, my current clothing is merchant's garb, which gives me +1 perception. For my character, I decided to sort of top weigh the attack score. When I was distributing points, that was, between these different skills. So I put more into my attack and not as much into my agility, luck and perception, which is not been amazing, because it turns out that these stats are actually quite important in this game. So I do tend to lose quite a lot of luck and perception rolls. So I don't really want to lose my +1 perception with the merchant's garb. So I guess I'll leave the lightning leather armour because my attack is already fairly decent. So it says you are now ready to continue your adventure. So I don't think there's much else to go over in the way of rules. You'll see combat very soon. I need to remember about critical strikes. A critical strike is made if you or your opponent win combat by rolling a double. Double damage is inflicted. So I need to remember that. Other than that, I think we can probably just crack on. So Tim Brown, who is the designer and writer of Talamander, also does the artwork, and I guess he's still in the process of inking his illustrations. So here we've got a pencil sketch of one of the illustrations. Some of the other illustrations we'll see are the final inked version, but they've got a cool sort of fighting fantasy vibe to them. There you go. So we've got a sort of an angry raider scout here. And issue 1 also had a couple of hidden entries in the images. So every now and then, if there was, like, for example, a rock on the floor in an image, there might be a little number, tiny little number written on the rock, and then you could go to that entry to look under the rock, or something like that. So I'm guessing that mechanic will continue in this issue as well. Let's read. You've been running and fighting for days with barely any sleep or rest, tracked by the surviving raiders and their fang hounds. Your only thought, survival. You are deep in the forest surrounding Fang Mountain, lost and without hope. Crack! The dead branches splinter as you fall forward, scattering insects and rotting wood across the muddy path you now find yourself on. The raider lands on top of you, the wind knocked out of him as he rolls to one side. You must fight. So we've got a Raider Scout with attack 8 and health 8. Now, combat in Talamander is nice and simple, as you would expect from something that's got a really old school, retro fighting fantasy sort of vibe to it. So all we do is we roll 2 dice for us, for me. We add on our attack score. We then roll 2 dice for the enemy, add on their attack score, and the winner does some damage. So that's what we're going to do, starting with us. 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 19. Oh, and that's nice and low for the Raider Scout. So we add that onto 8, giving him 11. So that means I win, and I do a base of 2 damage plus 2 for the sword. So that's 4 damage, taking the Raider Scout down to 4 health. And then we do it again. So that's 7 for me, giving me 17. Ooh, and 7 for the Raider Scout, giving the Raider Scout 15. So I just about win that one. So that's another 4 damage, meaning the Raider Scout is down to 0, and we've won. If you win, a swift search reveals a healing potion. I've got a lot of healing potions. That makes me think I'm going to take a lot of damage at some point soon. And 6 bronze coins. I found the bronze coins quite amusing in the first issue because I kept getting bronze coins and then people kept taking them away from me and I never got to spend any. So hopefully this time I'll get to keep my bronze coins and then spend them. You've lost count of the number of skirmishes you've been in. You are deep in the forest and disorientated. Very little light makes it through the choking branches above, and you are covered in small scratches from the path you've made through the brambles and bracken. This small game trail you now find yourself on is a welcome respite. To your right, you can hear a babbling stream. To your left, the path twists and winds into the distance. The horn sounds again, and you look wildly behind you. They'll be on you in seconds. Will you run left along the game trail, push your way wildly through the undergrowth in front of you, or turn right towards the stream? Turn to 2, 3, 4. I think I'll probably go for the stream. In this sort of situation, I always think, oh, maybe if I run down the stream, they will lose my scent, or something like that. Plus, a stream is a bit different, so let's go for the stream, shall we? But that's cool, we've already got 3 different options, so we're already branching off, and we're already at the point where if you buy this and get your own copy, you'll start seeing things that are different. So let's go to 2, 3, 4. Maybe the water will throw them off your trail. Haha, that's what I said. You've tried everything else. Splashing through a stream, it's not long before the channel deepens and you find yourself up to your knees in fast-flowing water. You steady yourself on small but slippery rocks a shrill blast of a horn behind you and the barking intensifies. You are hoping they would lose your scent, but these raiders are tenacious. Will you stand your ground and fight, or keep running? Up ahead you can hear a deep roaring, which sounds like a waterfall. Turn to 63. I think I'm going to keep on going. The water gets deeper and the stream becomes a fast-flowing river. Before you know it, your feet are no longer touching the riverbed and you're in danger of being swept away by the current. Quickly you scramble up onto a tiny island in the centre of the waterway. Stepping forward, you look over the edge of the waterfall and spy an unforgiving drop of some 200 feet with jagged rocks like the fangs of a troll thrusting out of the water beneath you. A hound with flailing paws bobs by on the current, not so lucky as you, and disappears over the waterfall, its strangled cry cut short by the rocks below. With a shout of rage, 4 more raiders, all struggling with the current, manage to make it onto the small island with you. The first one draws his sword and approaches warily. The other 3, unable to pass, draw their weapons and wait their turn. You must fight. So we've got a few more raiders to fight by the looks of things. This one has only got an attack of 7. So this is me first. It's 9, 19 versus his 14. So that's me hitting, doing 2. The base damage is 2. Did I say that already? If I didn't, the base damage is 2 and you add on whatever damage you get from your weapon. So I'm getting 2 plus 2. So that's me doing 4 damage, which means the raider is down to 3 health. So 1 more successful hit and the raider will be down. So that's 16 for me. And 14 again for the raider. So the raider is defeated. I think if I were to start the whole thing again, I might put slightly less in my attack, maybe 8 or 9, and then just slightly bump up my luck or perception, probably my perception or my agility, because these things really do come in handy. So the raider is defeated. If you win, the raider's bloodied body falls lifeless into the water and is swept quickly over the fall. What happens next surprises all of you. Giant hands made entirely of water emerge from the bubbling depths, and before you can do anything, grab you and each of the remaining raiders in a vice-like grip. Anger roils off the hand holding you, and you sense it wants to squeeze the life from you. Instead, you find yourself pulled back towards the forest before being hurled mightily over the waterfall at a speed so staggering you nearly pass out. Far below you, the forest is a beautiful patchwork of green. You look down on surprised flocks of birds and clouds gently moving in the breeze. Unfortunately, your imminent death detracts greatly from this once-in-a-lifetime view. If you still have 2 family luck points, turn to 141. Otherwise, turn to 162. I do still have my 2 family luck points, so let's turn to 141. You've never tried to use your family luck before. So basically you were told during the first game by an important character at a certain point that your family has this almost magical innate luck which can be used to get out of sticky situations, and I guess this is a sticky situation. You've never tried to use your family luck before. It's always something that just happened when you needed it. You're not even sure if what you're attempting is possible, but your mind is clear and your only thought is on surviving. You channel all your thoughts and energies into staying alive, nothing more. As you look down on the river far below and the thick giant trees that spread out as far as the eye can see, you wonder what death will be like, but then you realise that you're no longer falling. Somehow, whatever you did, it worked. 3 surprised raiders sail past you and fall through the forest canopy, their death a hidden mystery of the cracking branches that fail to break their fall. You gently glide down over the river and onto the muddy bank at the bottom of the fall. You fall to your knees and kiss the grass at your feet, the sweetest grass you've ever seen. Somehow, you're still alive. You try and remember what it is you just did, but the thought of it is alive and elusive. Every time you try and pin it down, it seems to wriggle free. Something inside your head has changed, but you're not sure what. What you do know is that your family luck is more powerful than you realized, and with more practice, you wonder what else you could do. Oh, so maybe the family luck is going to develop into some kind of actual abilities that you just don't understand yet. That's super cool. That's very cool. For now, remove both your family luck points. Oh wow, so I just used both my family luck points. And make a note of the code word bless. Okay. So now we've got bless, and we've used both our family luck points, which is a shame, but at least I'm not dead, I suppose. Your thoughts are interrupted by a large splash. Turning, you see a woman made of water, covered head to toe in shimmering spiky shell armour, climbing up onto the riverbank and striding towards you. I would have saved you, but you had to be punished for spilling blood in my river, even if it was raider blood, she says. This is the creature that nearly killed you. Will you attack her, ask her who she is, or thank her for the lesson? Or should we go for the middle option? Let's just ask her who she is. I am the person that just saved your life. This is my river, and I do not take kindly to people throwing bodies into it, she explains. The witch spoke of your coming in my dreams. The one who broke Fang Mountain and let the raiders loose in our forest is near. She holds her hands up to stop your protests. Yes, yes, I know you saved us all, and we are grateful. But there have been unforeseen consequences. She pauses gravely. Consequences with responsibilities. For you. Now come, the villagers will want to meet you. Follow the water and you'll find them. We'll see each other again, I am sure. And with that she melts back into the river, leaving you alone. Add water elemental to the Friends of the Forest box on your adventure sheet. Cool. So we've got our first friend of the forest, water elemental. Awesome. You wonder if you should follow the river when you notice a grass snake made entirely of water glide through the muddy grass towards the trees. Intrigued, you decide to follow. The snake seems to know where it's going and moves at a fair pace. After an hour wending your way through the dense forest, the trees open out on a small clearing. The snake turns and looks at you. Oh, so it was the water elemental helping us. I'm a bit slow catching on there. The snake turns and looks at you, then melts into the grass. Its job done. Turn to 50. Day 1, the village. Alright, so I think we're going to be leaving it there. Tim asked me to play through just up until the start of the village. Obviously, we don't want to show you too much of what happens in this issue. So, there you go. That's Talamander. If that looks like the sort of thing you want to get on board with, and if you're still watching, I suspect it might be, it is on Kickstarter at time of release of this video. I'll pop a link in the description below. If you do want to see more Talamander playthrough, I'll pop a link up in the corner of the screen to my playthrough of issue 1. If you like gamebooks, I will add links to a couple more playthroughs in the description down below. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed that, folks. It's a super fun little system, nice and simple, nice and retro, and it's a fun world to explore. So I hope you are inspired to go and check out the Kickstarter. I will see you in another video soon, no doubt. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.